Good morning, Ray here, not that one. Well, I'm doing something a little different on this Sunday, just to show how much I thoroughly enjoyed riding on that railway line during my old Chalk Way route. But I've come out to a local railway line. This one is called the Marriots Way. Yeah, I've sort of left the Norwich industrial area where I set off. Didn't film that. We're now passing through Aylsham, as you can possibly see on that sign. So yes, I thought I'd just come out and enjoy riding on some flat surface, because in my experience most railway lines don't go terribly steep uphill or downhill. So yeah, just to give my legs a little bit of gentle exercise after the struggle of the Chalk Way, which you'll easily find on my channel over 2 parts. I did find it to be rather hard work, to be honest. But I knew it was going to be hard work, but there's knowing it and doing it are 2 different things. I've got quite a lot of people about. Thank you. Good old-fashioned bell just comes in handy at times. So yes, so this old railway line, if we get that far, this will carry on to Aylsham, and obviously this was built in the Victorian era. No road sense. Yeah, so I think it was closed to passengers in about 1958, but it did continue as a freight route. I think what happened about the mid-80s. So that's quite surprising. Yeah, some lovely woodland, and we've been following the River Wensum, which is just over to the right hand side. There's 1 or 2 nature reserves on the outskirts of Norwich as well. The Sweetbriar Road is just one of them. I can't remember the other one. But yeah, generally very pleasant cycle. Just stopped for a second by this very convenient bench. Thought I'd just show you the steed I'm on today. This is my old giant Fast Road SLR. I've had this bike for considerable time. I think I bought this in 2016, and for a long time it was my only bike, and I found this to be exceptionally good. It's very comfortable to ride, it's very capable on road. I've recently tried to turn it into gravel spec. Well, I just put some slightly wider knobbly tyres on. Other than that, it's completely stock. So, but yeah, but it's great, absolutely great. So yeah, disc brakes, plenty of gears, yeah, nice comfortable handlebars and some palm rests. I've been very tempted to upgrade it to just a newer version, to be honest, but at the moment it's still going. Might as well hang on to it. After my experiences down in on the old Chalk Way winter time, I've fitted some mud guards now because I got covered in mud, which wasn't very nice. But I've still got my tail fin bag on, which I used last weekend, and I've got a little specialised under saddle bag which has just got a few tools in. Now coming up to one of the numerous bridges that we cross, all various tributaries of the Wensum, I guess. Yes, there's no sign there to say what the tributary is. Hello, we're now at Drayton Station. We're now just passing through Fort Marriott, and this is where the nice sort of smoothy tarmacy bit finished. And we're now on the sort of more traditional surface, mud, bits of wood, leaves, commonly called off-road. Now this is pretty good. I've been up this trail a few times over the years, I was up here last year, and unfortunately the day before I left we had quite a significant amount of rain, and yeah, these sections were super muddy actually, full of massive puddles, and yeah, got in a right old state. But that's all part of the fun, I guess. On that occasion, when I got to Aylsham, I continued up to Sheringham, had a look at the coast, and then from there I went slightly along the coast a little way, spent the night on the beach actually, which was really nice, and then the following day I carried all the way around the coast as far as Great Yarmouth, and jumped on a train back to home. Yeah, that was a very nice trip actually. I shan't be doing it today, not after last weekend's adventures. This is just supposed to be a little gentle bit of exercise for my legs, just to keep them moving. I had these tyres pumped up to about 50 psi when I left home because there was some road work. But now we're on this sort of slightly rougher section. I have reduced them down to, well, my best guess is between 25 and 30. I'll just soak up the bumps a bit easier. I'm now crossing the NDR, which is a perimeter road running around the northern part of Norwich, supposed to relieve some of the traffic. Don't know how successful that's been, I must admit. So fortunately, that doesn't make a complete circle around Norwich. It only does the northern part. Well, actually, just about the 3/4 of it. But the crucial bit is missing. For one reason or another. I think that's a combination of landowners, wildlife, rare habitats for just about everything you can think of. These benches, sort of sculptured benches, are every mile along this route. I think they're all meant to commemorate different parts of industry from this area. I'm not completely sure on that, so don't quote me on it. Right, we're just past a village called Attlebridge, where there used to be a little station many years ago. Very impressed with the track, I must admit. It's been very good. Since I was here last year, where that was really bad. I don't know whether anybody's been down here and it's, I don't know, maybe graded it somehow, or it's just naturally sorted itself out, but it's pretty smooth. It is very good. Impressive. It's a lovely run. I'm now coming up to 10 miles outside of Norwich, which means it shouldn't be too long before I'm at Reepham. Afternoon. Oh, spaniel. Last time I used this bike in anger was on the trip I've already mentioned a few times, but sort of just before last Christmas I took my camper van down to the south, and I went quite a lot of places really. I spent some time on Exmoor, Dartmoor, down into Cornwall for a little bit, then on the south coast, came up for the New Forest. Had done quite a bit of cycling around the New Forest, which was lovely. Then I was at a place called, stopped at a place called Win Hill, And I had a look on my Commute app and found a circular route. It was around about 90k from what I remember, and I went down all those old tracks. I can't remember exactly, I think there was a Drover's Way and there was something Ox Drove, or I get easily confused nowadays, but it was a series of tracks, and the ones going through Cranbourne Chase were pretty reasonable. Most of the others were diabolical because all the Land Rover boys had been tearing them up, and the ruts were so deep that I couldn't even pedal through them because the pedals were hitting on either side. And yeah, it was it was pretty grim. And I prepared the bike for that trip by putting these brand new Swabi tyres on. I think I'm correct in saying that since I bought this bike in 2016, I'd never had a puncture, ever. And I had done quite a few long trips with it, including the 250-mile Wolf Way in Suffolk. Was involved a fair bit of off the road. But on that trip I had one puncture in the New Forest, then I had two punctures on that old Drove Way. Really struggled to seal them up. I did eventually. I think I had to end up with tubes in. Oh, it's a right faff. And obviously the point where the most serious punctures happened was in the mud, so it was hard to see where the tar ended and the wheel began. So trying to keep everything clean was it's impossible. When I did eventually get back home, the bike needed a complete strip down to clean it. Stripped all the wheels out and everything to clean all the mud and crap out of them. So yeah, so I'm hoping that these tyres have got a fair better on this terrain. They have got a fair bit of tyre fluid in, so if I pick up anything, hopefully that will seal up anyway. But I've got some of those Stan's darts now. I used one on the chalkway to great effect actually, very impressed. So I've ordered a refill pack of those, which will be here in a day or two. Nobody's told me I talk too much yet, so I'm just happy just to ramble on. I'll splice it up and cut it out as I see fit. If anybody wants to comment, tell me to shut up or whatever, play some music, I don't really care, just let me know what to do. I'm very tempted to start a new channel and call it Ray's World or something like that. An old Norfolk boys take on what's happening in the world. I'm sure that'd be entertaining. I'll probably get locked up within a week with the Starmer police. Probably not been very happy with me. So might be wise to give that a miss. Well, obviously if I get 1,000 requests then I'll start it. We cannot be a huge distance from Reepham, where there is a calf. It's the old Reepham station where a lot of enthusiasts congregate and play with the trains and make new ones, repair them, run the old train line, which it still runs. You can get tickets on and trolley along a bit if you want. Not really my kind of scene, but it's good that people are still keeping all these old things alive, very much so. But anyway, there's quite a fine calf there. When I was there last year, it was absolutely rammed. I'm not expecting it to be much different this time. But I do know if you carry on past that, there is at least one other, possibly two more calves, which are, on my recent travels, I have been struck by the amount of posters up for missing dogs. They seem to be everywhere. So I don't know what happens to these missing dogs, whether they run off and then somebody else catches them and takes them away, or they just run off. Does seem to be an awful lot of occurrences. I mean, my first thought would be, if a dog was on a lead, that ain't gonna run off. That may not be popular with everybody, but it is nonetheless an undisputed fact, especially this time of year. I've been again struck by how many people just let their dogs run wild, especially spaniels and the like. You know, this is supposed to be the season for ground nesting birds. Last thing you want is dogs careering through nests and eating the eggs and the young. A lot of these dog owners just seem to be completely oblivious to that fact, or they just don't care. So there we are, just saying, no doubt I upset a few dog walkers. I don't really care, to be honest. Right, I do believe we are now coming up to that station. Almost 14 miles out. I just passed the sculptured seat which said 13 on it. No, it didn't, sorry, it said 14 on it. So we're over 14 miles, coming up to 15. Whether we'll see another one here before the station. But yeah, let's see how busy that is and what the potential waiting time is for food. Oh, there goes the train. Hi. The train's just pulled out of the station with the happy kids on it. Tea room, 100 metres ahead. Well, we'll give it a look and see. Right. It looks quite busy. There's a lot of tables on the other side as well, so I think this is one where you're more likely to get a decent plate of food. Oh. There we go, for any of you World War II veterans. We've got a load of Wiley's Jeeps here, Willys Jeeps, motorcycles. Army trucks, old Austins. Well, I've had a few refreshments at the Whitwell Reefham station, which is quite nice, and I'm now back on the track. The track is getting progressively smaller as we head this way, a bit more gravelly, but we're now heading up to an area called the Thorpe Curve. Now, I've heard it said that this It's the tightest curve on any railway in the UK. How true that is, I don't know. Oop. The sky seems to have clouded over a wee bit. There was talk about a rain shower around about. And look at Mudjack. Yeah, there was talk of a rain shower around about 2 PM. I'm hoping that doesn't materialise. Oh, we have a slightly wet boggy patch. First one so far. It's been a great cycle so far. So we've got another Mudjack up here. This is obviously where they're all hiding. So the current plan of action is I am going to get down here to the curve, then cycle back up to Aylsham, and then I'm just going to turn around and come straight back again. There is a little, sort of like a little shortcut back to Reepham station. Save me coming all around this loop again. So I'll take that and then we'll be back in Norwich. And then yeah, get home. This will be the sign warning us about the badger activity, I should imagine. Yes, for the next 30 metres. Well, I hate to tell you guys, but back there about 2 miles, the badger activity was much worse. And virtually covered the whole, well they had, covered the whole track with sand. Holes everywhere. Well, this is mile 19. Another seat, another piece of twisted metal. What it says here, Eastern Union Railway. I've no idea what the significance of that steel is, but I guess it looks nice. Hello again. Right, we're on the way back now. Unfortunately the forecast for the rain showers came true. So I've been doing a bit of sheltering. Trying not to get too wet because I'm not really dressed for it. Schoolboy air, I know. Anyway. I've done the cut through back from the Femalthorpe section and I'm now back on the main trail back to Norwich, trying to keep ahead of the rain, which I am on the cusp of because I keep feeling it spitting. Well, apart from the rain, it's been rather lovely. At the train station where I stopped for a bite to eat, there's obviously some special event on it. I didn't realise what it was, but there's quite a lot of period vehicles and people running around in period costume, and a few stalls up selling memorabilia. So yeah, whether that's just been just today or the whole weekend I'd imagine. But so yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but that was quite nice. Quite nice to see people getting together with their old wartime clothing on and seats and uniforms and the like. Yeah, it's good to see. They're playing the wartime music. Right, we're back onto the tarmac section now. managing to keep dry so far. Not wishing to speak too soon. I've discovered one thing, that the seat on this bike is not as comfortable over distances as the XTC I was on last weekend. I can already feel a bit of a sore bottom coming on. Mind you, that could still be recovering from last week, so there's always that option. But I haven't really felt any sort of effects during the week in the posterior department. That's amazing nowadays how many people choose not to acknowledge you. I always try and make a point of saying hello or morning, afternoon to everybody I meet. Some people respond, but over 50% don't at all, which is very strange behaviour. Common courtesy doesn't take that much. So if you ring your bell, they think you're being rude and an arsehole. If you don't ring the bell, then they think you're stupid because you ain't got a bell. So it's like, it's very hard to win. That's one benefit of the XTC, it's so bloody noisy. As soon as you freewheel, you've got the ratchet under the hub, and people can hear you coming from bloody miles away, so that does sort of save a lot of grief, whereas this one is just whisper quiet. Certainly on a slightly gravelly bit where you can hear the tyres. Right. Then I've got to work out what to eat for tea. I know what I should eat, and I have bought quite a lot of stuff at home, but since last weekend I just can't seem to eat enough food, and I have been eating a right load of old rubbish, completely different to what I would normally eat. So I guess I'm still trying to pack the calories, fat or reserves or whatever I had back in from that 4-day trip. I really don't know whether I could let myself sink so far as to have some kind of, what should we say, fast food. I think usually what's fast about it is how quickly you can eat it and how quickly it comes out the other end. But doesn't seem to be much in between. I don't think any of the options are particularly appealing. I certainly wouldn't have a McDonald's, and I wouldn't have a KFC either. I'm not a huge fan of pizza. Not that that's any better. On the odd occasion I have had a Burger King. At least they do seem to have proper big juicy burgers. Hardly gourmet, is it? So I think we better wait till I get home and have my chicken livers. Hey. Right, the rain is a bit more persistent now. Right, I think I better turn off the camera and put away because it is now starting to bloody typical. Another 5 minutes I would have been clear. But there we are.